What is up, guys? It is Kendall back again for the 5th installment in our financial friendship. Thank you so much for coming back. Your time is precious and I do not want to waste it. Guys, the market has been insane over the past week. It has been crazy, up and down all over the place, and there has been no stock that has been more volatile and more insane than, say it with me, AMC. AMC has been on a tear over the past week. We're going to dive into why this is happening. Is the price set to grow back after falling over the past 2 days of sharing? And my personal price prediction in the near future over the next week. So guys, with all that being said, two things real quick. In the description below, there are two links. Number one is Webull and number two is Robinhood. If you click on the link, download the apps, and begin your investment journey, you can earn free stocks for yourself and me. I thank you in advance for that. Let me know in the comment section below what stocks you get. Best of luck. Also, if you missed the last video, it is titled My Top 3 Financial Mistakes. Spoiler alert, the biggest one, number one, is over $115,000 mistake. You gotta watch it, it's crazy. But there's also a challenge on that video. If we fulfill the stipulations of the challenge, which I did explain at length in the beginning of that video, then one lucky winner is going to win a prize pack valued up to $50. All that being said, let's dive into the content. Guys, it has been insane over the past week. AMC has been up and down like a red and green seesaw, looking like it is poised to take off like a rocket. The big question is, why is that happening? Well, to understand why it's happening, you've got to know the old underdog story, the classic David versus Goliath of the modern age, which is the hedge fund versus the retail investor. The retail investor is average Joes and average Janes, such as you and I, who put our hard-earned money into a stock in order to see growth, to beat inflation, and to set ourselves up for prosperity in the future. Now, the hedge fund on the other end, they are these multi-billion-dollar corporations that want to do one thing, and that is make money at your expense and my expense. The way that they do this primarily is through short selling stocks. In order to know what short selling stocks is, I went to Investopedia, and this is what they had to say. Short selling is a fairly simple concept. An investor borrows stocks, sells the stock, and then buys the stock back to return to the lender. Short sellers are betting that a stock that they sell will drop in price. If the stock does drop after selling, the short seller buys it back at a lower price and returns it to the lender. The difference between the sell price and the buy price is the profit. It's that in a nutshell. So what it means is, let's say AMC lent Citadel, for instance. That is a hedge fund. They lent Citadel 100 shares of their stock to sell on their behalf because they needed acute capital. When the pandemic hit them hard, they were down, they were losing revenue, hand over fist, and they needed money quick. So they did this, and let's say Citadel sold the 100 shares for $20 a share. Now that is $2,000. Now Citadel did that with the thought that the price is going to drop. So let's say it dropped down to $5 a share. Then when they buy those 100 shares back, they keep the profit difference, which would be $1,500. Now take that and then multiply it by tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions, because they do it on these insane levels, guys. They make money hand over fist off short selling stocks. And when they do that, essentially, they screw over you and I, because if we've invested in that company, the money that we've put in will then be devalued as the stock goes down. What that has done is really pissed off retail investors. The retail investors they've pissed off are known as the AMC Army, or the apes. Guys, the apes are mad. And what they've decided to do is take their fortune into their own hands. By doing so, they have bought a ton of the stock that is on the market for AMC. In a recent study, it actually showed that over 3 million independent investors, retail investors, have bought into AMC, and they hold over 80% of the stock. That is crazy, guys. And in doing so, they have bought and they have held their shares. When the supply that is out there to be obtained is fewer, then the price will go up, because it's the classic economic principle of supply and demand. When the supply is down, the demand is up, the price goes up. There is also an estimate of 20% of shares that are still out there that are shorted. That means over 90 million, and some estimates say up to 95 million. So what does that mean Why is that going to benefit the short sellers? Why has that caused the price to skyrocket? Well, guys, it's because when these hedge funds that have attempted to short the stock have to then give the stocks back to the lender that they have obtained and sold on their behalf, they are having to pay higher amounts. When they pay higher amounts, or a premium amount, it makes it seem as if the demand is higher. And if the demand is higher and the supply is low because the apes are buying and holding, the price will continue to climb more and more and more. And that is what has happened. Now, if there is still over 90 million shares out there that are meant to be obtained and returned back to AMC, and the private retail investors are holding on to 80% of that, then that means that the price is supposed to continue to grow. And when that happens, that is what's called a short squeeze. Now, with a short squeeze, what is the limit on it? It really depends on how much the stock is actually shorted. They are recounting to determine how many shorts are still out there, and probably by the next week, we should know how much that really is. If the apes continue to buy and hold, and hold and hold and hold, then the price should continue to go up as these hedge funds have to honor their shorts. Full disclosure, I am an ape myself. I do not judge any of you all because I am one of you all. I have over 170 shares, a little bit over that, and at one point this past week, I had made over 10 grand on my position. Crazy. 10 grand in 1 week on one stock. You can get those returns in like cryptocurrency, which again is super volatile, but that does not happen with a private stock. You just never see that happen, that kind of growth that quickly. And guys, in my personal opinion, again, all of this is my personal opinion. I cannot give you financial advice as I am not a financial advisor.
Disclaimer.
But I do believe over the next week, we are poised to see a continued growth and a continued increase in the price, and I'll get back to my price prediction very soon. Before we dive into that, let's look at what exactly has happened over the past week. At the opening of market on Tuesday, as Monday, the market was closed on Monday in observance of Memorial Day. That being said, thank you to all the veterans out there, all the active duty members right now in our armed services and their families for their sacrifice and for their service. We thank you so much. We are indebted to you more than you will ever know. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But on the opening of the market on Tuesday, on June the 1st, the price of AMC was trading at $31.85. We continued to see the price climb, and at the end of closing on Tuesday, it was about $35. Hedging right around the all-time high of a little bit over $36. Guys, on Wednesday, it went bonkers. It was insane what happened on Wednesday, June the 2nd, in regards to AMC. At one point, they were up as high as 105, 106%. They got all the way up to a maximum price of $72.62. Since that has happened, over Thursday and Friday of this week, there has been a drop. And some people are curious as to why there has been a drop. Again, in my personal opinion, there may have been some apes that pulled out and said, hey, I've made a lot of money, I'm selling my position. I doubt it though. To be honest, I think it has to do with two things. One, AMC actually sold 8.5 million new shares that they put into the market, putting them at about 458-ish million shares that are available. They put that back in and they sold it to a hedge fund called Murdoch Capital. Immediately at the opening of the market, Murdoch Capital, who got those shares last Friday, went ahead and sold. They made money, good for them. But if they would have held on just another day, they would have doubled their position. And guess what? I do not feel sorry for you. You already have too much money as it is. So thank you for doing so, because in doing that, it actually helped drive our price up further, because it was sold at a premium, which again makes the demand look like it is higher, and therefore it made the price jump. Now, the other reason that I think that it has went down over the past 2 days, because adding 8 million shares when there's already 450 million doesn't really change the stock price or devalue it that much. But what I think is also happening is a lot of market manipulation, guys. These hedge funds are losing money hand over fist. There's estimates that say that they've lost $3 and $4 billion this past week alone off of the shorts that they are having to now pay upfront for. They are going out on a tear. They are talking to mainstream media, and they're saying the stock is overvalued, it's going to collapse, it's going to come down, and those kind of things. And at some point, everything will likely fall into place. And yes, that will happen. So you do not want to be the last one holding on, because you could lose out on a lot of profits. But that is, in a nutshell, why the market has went so crazy. Going back to the previous information, if there's still 90 to 95 million shares out there that are shorted, that is poised to continue to drive the price higher and higher. So guys, my price prediction for this next week is at some point, I think we will see triple digits. I think we would break 100. I may be crazy, but when you look at it and you say 80% is held by private investors and they are holding on for dear life. They are essentially not letting go. They are not putting that supply back in, because if the supply comes in and it's not as limited, the price will go down. But if they are holding and holding and holding, then what's going to happen is the price will continue to drive up. And it could go like a rocket to the moon. I hope it does, because like I said, I'm one of the apes myself. That's my price prediction. That's what's been going on, guys, just to fill you in. With all that being said, please do not forget the two things we talked about earlier in the description below, the two links for Robinhood and Webull, in order to get you some free stocks and get me some free stocks. Give the last video, my top 3 financial mistakes of you. Give it a like, subscribe, leave a comment, and you could win that prize pack that we talked about. Now guys, please, with all of this being said, do not forget the motto of the channel. Educate yourself, invest wisely, and be prosperous. You have to educate yourself before you put money in something, especially something as volatile as AMC stock has been over the past week. Guys, I appreciate you so much for coming back and spending more time with me. Your time is valuable. I never want to waste it. Thank you for giving me some of it. Until next time, guys, I'll miss you. I love you. Peace.